Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am back with another video. You know what you got to do: rate, comment, subscribe. Please support the video and my channel by hitting the notification bell so it'll let you know, and the subscribe button so it'll let you know when my next video or live stream goes down. All right. I talked about this briefly on I'm Chris the Don One podcast. It's on iTunes. Go check that out. And I also talked about it on a video about a couple of weeks back. And this report's coming from Bleacher Report and the Los Angeles Times. The Lakers feel betrayed. They're not unhappy about Kawhi Leonard. Okay, because they felt like they had an opportunity to get Kawhi Leonard. And, and the reason why they feel betrayed and unhappy about Kawhi Leonard simple fact was they had money and they had the ability to sign other players. So they was at the fork in the road. Shall we make the roster better by signing these players? I'm using players, or just wait around and wait for Kawhi Leonard to make his decision on which team he's going to go to. And there's not 100% guaranteed that he's going to choose the Lakers. Okay? So, and Charles Barkley, I don't agree with Charles Barkley a lot, but I will agree with him on this. Okay? First of all, Kawhi Leonard, as well as Kevin Durant, as well as a lot of these superstar NBA players, are pretty much, when it comes to player movement and the NBA, when NBA as itself, I feel like it's a copycat league. I feel like a lot of players and a lot of teams tend to copy what their interpretation is the wave. Okay, so players are, now more than ever wanting more control on where they're going to, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table to have that power and have that control and have that ability. So that's more important to them than actually making money. Now, a lot of players are leaving a lot of money on the table to group up and try to form super teams or super duos, or go to a team that goes deep into the playoffs, win championships. They won championships without you, and now more than ever, players are just joining those teams instead of, if you can't beat it's the moniker is, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, a lot of NBA superstars have been doing this, and they're following what LeBron has orchestrated when he had the power and when he had the control and the ability. Instead of trying to recruit players to come to him, he decided to pair up with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Okay, and now players, and after them winning those two titles, now and it made it more credent and more logical when Kevin Durant, after he got bounced out by the Golden State Warriors when he was a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder, he decided to take his talents to a team that was winning championships, and he won 2 MVPs and won 2 championships. So a lot of players are looking at this logic, this quote-unquote logic, going, well, wait a minute. If it worked for LeBron James in his favor, dictating where he wanted to go, he won 2 chips out of that, and possibly more. If Kevin Durant followed LeBron James and now he won 2 MVPs plus 2 titles, could have won more, then I should follow the same logic as those 2 previous guys. Okay, so let's get back to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley feels like if this continues, if this trend continues, if this is the new quote unquote wave, okay, then Now more than ever, a superstar will join a team that that's already going to the playoffs, that drafted well, that found the right players to fit. And now more than ever, players are just simply, instead of trying to get the talent to come to them, they're going to the talented teams. Okay. And if this trend keeps continuing, keeps on, then small market teams such as the Indiana Pacers, okay, this and San Antonio Spurs figured out a way to not be affected by this, but the Charlotte Hornets, small teams like that don't have big corporations sponsoring them, having sponsorship deals, or they're in big markets like LA and New York, okay. Now these teams are not going to be able to last long if they can't. Not only is the New Orleans Pelicans, okay, you have the ability to draft them, but you don't have the ability to keep them. Okay, so if you don't stack the deck, so to say, and keep their interest about you as far as resigning you, if you don't and that means that you're gonna have to sacrifice and mortgage your future, now more than ever, to basically satisfy this star that wanting to stay, instead of being patient and trusting the process like the Philadelphia 76ers did. A lot of these NBA players are impatient and they're not going to wait. So they rather just take their talent someplace else, take their ball someplace else, and go to a team that's already successful without them. Okay, that's already have a superstar. Now, instead of I felt like the super team, the quote unquote having 3 stars, I think that's over with. But now it's a duo, which now you want to pair up with somebody else. Instead of having 3 NBA superstars going to your team, now you got 2 superstars. But still, teams are going to be affected by this, like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, to a certain extent, the Houston Rockets, even though they got James Harden and Russell Westbrook, I don't think that's enough, okay, for them to win a title. All right, so they had to mortgage their future to satisfy James Harden. And when James Harden is past his prime and you can't trade his contract, you can't trade James Harden, or you can't change or trade Russell Westbrook when they're past their prime. And normally when teams are in that predicament, they say, well, okay, we'll just rebuild for the draft and just reshuffle the decks. Well, the Houston Rockets do not have enough picks to reshuffle the deck and rebuild, meaning you're going to struggle when those 2 players are there. And with those 2 contracts, you're not going to be able to add nothing. So you're going to have to wait until they leave, or they retire, or you buy them out, okay? And guess what? You don't have enough picks in the future to reshuffle and rebuild, okay? Because you mortgage your future away, all right? So, Charles Barkley, and I feel like now more than ever, NBA teams, and I feel like this is going to happen. I feel like when the contract's up, owners are going to rechange and as far as the contract goes, making it favorable for the owners. It's sort of like a 50-50 split. It's a mutual understanding with the players as well as the owners, okay? But the owners are willing to lock them out and strike. And if they have to strike for a whole year, owners are going to do that. And at the end of the day, ultimately, the players are going to have to this power, this newfound power, they're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of that to get back playing again. And when you're striking with a billionaire, And a billionaire, there's a reason why he's a billionaire. He's not a billionaire because he got all his money from owning that team. He was a billionaire before that. Okay. So when billionaires are striking against millionaires, this is going to be a twofold conversation. One, the average person like myself and like you out there are not going to understand why two rich people are striking. We're going to immediately go to the money. You guys, the billionaires are making too much money. The players are making too much money. Okay, why don't y'all just agree to disagree and start playing basketball again? And then the second thing people are going to say is the aspect of, well, basketball is a kid sport. Try to degrade the players and the owners for starting a lockout and starting a strike. Okay, you guys are locking each other out and striking over a child sport. Okay, and try to make it, try to dumb it down, so to say, to the reasoning of you guys make way too much money on both sides to be striking. Okay, so you're gonna hear that narrative, throughout being locked out and being striked. Okay, trying to put pressure on the players to make a deal. Try to make a deal when, try to go ahead and rush and make a deal and lose their power and their ability, okay, freely to move from team to team. And there's going to be language in that contract where it's going to be difficult, all right, because the owners are going to be screaming, we're losing money. Maybe not the big market teams, maybe not the teams that can get two superstars, maybe three, maybe not those teams, but the rest of the league is hemorrhaging money. And that's what that's what a lot of owners are going to dictate. And when they lock the players out, that's going to be their reasoning why they locked them out, because there's a lot of teams out there that's not making a lot of money. So I feel like a lockout and a strike is going to ultimately be the future of the players and the owners. And, not only the Lakers feel betrayed and feel unhappy about Kawhi Leonard's decision, but a lot of teams are going to push this narrative. And ultimately, when it's time to re-up the contracts, there's going to be language in that contract where it's going to be difficult for players to freely move where they want to go. Where players, I feel like one thing is going to probably happen is the contracts are going to be longer. They're going to make a lot of money, the player is, but instead of a 3-year contract, I feel like when with this new, now they're basically saying that you can just be drafted coming out of high school. Okay, so just imagine, you draft someone that just graduated high school. What? They're 18, 19 years old. All right, they are an extremely, they're the one. Okay, I'm not talking about somebody that you may think that they're the one. You hit the lottery by drafting this player. He's the next Zion. He's the next LeBron. He's the next Kobe. He's the next MJ, and you got him at 19. Okay, so just follow me for a second. So you draft him straight out of high school, graduated from high school, and normally they sign a 3-4 year deal where if they just play the contract out and go into free agency, you probably got that player for you probably haven't had that player from 19, 20, 21, 22. He's probably 22, 23, still in his prime. And now he has the ability to become a free agent, and he can either re-sign with you and make more money, or go to another team and pair up with a superstar. Still, he's still in his prime. Folks, when they strike, they're not going to be 3-year contracts no more. They're not going to be 4-year rookie deals. They're not going to be 3-year rookie deals. They're just going to call it a contract. They're going to already give you the money up front, meaning that the contract is going to be long. It's not going to be a 3-4 year deal. Possibly a player could stay on one team for like 7 years, and that's what they're going to do. The length of the contract is going to be longer. They're going to pay them more money up front. Okay, but the owners are going to dictate and keep that player a little bit longer. Now there's risk and reward. If you hit the lottery on a player, you got that player for the majority of his basketball career in the NBA. Okay, but what if you don't hit the lottery on a player? And you give all that money to a player that just ain't developing right, it's just not the one you misdiagnosed when you drafted him, you're stuck with that player. And that player is making so much money, other teams are not going to want that player, particularly if he's digressing. All right? So, I feel like that's one way the owners are going to approach this. Another way the owners are going to approach this is make it a hard salary cap. And I feel like that's probably the way they're going to go. They're going to run the same structure like the NFL, where, it's a contract, but but it's not a guaranteed contract. But in order for that mechanic to work, they're going to have to prove and show the book, so to say, which I don't think they're going to have no problem this time around showing the books on how many teams are not making ends meet. And a lot of these teams are in serious dire straits, okay? A lot of teams are not going to be like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Clippers, the Golden State Warriors, okay, the Houston Rockets, okay. A lot of teams are not going to be in that same boat. I think a lot of teams out there in the NBA are more like the Charlotte Hornets, okay. Where, all you could have gotten was once, a lot of people want to talk about Michael Jordan, why he didn't re-sign Kemba Walker. He could have signed Kemba Walker, but who you going to pair alongside Kemba Walker? Kemba Walker is not going to be enough to get you, not only in the playoffs, but to advance further into the playoffs. You're going to need another key piece. And if you look at the Charlotte Hornets, they're at this point in time, even with Kemba Walker, they wasn't attracting no free agent. Top free agent was interested in the Charlotte Hornets. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving. If you want to, I feel like that's the next tier stars. They just wasn't. Okay. Well, that's all I got for today. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dime One, and I am out.